Alright everybody, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. I hope you guys are all doing well today, but today we're going to be going over a little bit of a different topic than usual. As you know, CG themselves have been working on making sure a lot more factions are very usable in the game. The last few months, or really years, they've been including other characters into different teams and to build out different factions to make more things in the game more usable. We see this with stuff like maybe Imperial Remnant. We see this with stuff like Phoenix, making that more usable. We see this with Resistance, with Zori. Obviously, you understand the trend here. We have it goes back to Akbar, or not Akbar. It goes back to Radis with Rogue One, Marin with Night Sisters. You understand what we're saying here. There's a bunch of factions in the game that have been reworked so that the characters in the faction are more cohesive, fun, usable, viable, etc. But today we're going to go over 5 more factions I think CG needs to give some tender loving care and affection to in the upcoming year or maybe 2 or so. So if you haven't already, drop a like, subscribe. It'll factually, statistically get you more friends. It's proven fact, so do that. And if you haven't already, check out our membership program. I keep forgetting to shout this out. All of the funds that I'm getting from the membership programs go towards my Darth Bane unlock, so do that. And let's get right into the video. So, first up, our first faction we're going to take a look at is the Jedi faction, and specifically Galactic Republic Jedi. First of all, why is Galactic Republic Jedi not its own sub-faction? Why is that not its own tag? 2, why is there not a Jedi Council tag? 3, why are all of the Galactic Republic Jedi terrible? Let me take a look here. Let's go down the list here of terrible Galactic Republic Jedi. Eth Koth, I'm a Gundai. Ayla Secura, not great. Kit Fisto, Jedi Knight, Juhani with the Omicron's fine. Jedi Knight Guardian, Luminara, Jedi Counselor, Plo Koon, and then it kind of stops there. So, I mean, that's like a good number of the Galactic Republic Jedi under the Jedi tag. A lot of these guys could be reworked, and especially with all this prequel trilogy, Galactic Republic content coming out, I mean, it really doesn't make sense not to get a rework. I mean, you could rework characters like Mace Windu, you could rework characters like Plo Koon, Kit Fisto specifically. I really want this guy right here to be useful. I love Kit Fisto in the Clone Wars show and Star Wars. But he's freaking useless. Kit Fisto sucks. I think they need to break this down a lot more into different factions and different teams. It's kind of like the Empire faction. There's so many things. It has Sith, it has Imperial Troopers. It has so many things in it. If you take a look at the Empire tag, which is here, I promise I can read. There's so many things that fall under the Empire tag. Inquisitors as well. There's droids here. Imperial Remnant. There's just so much in here. And I really feel like the Jedi tag could be one of those factions that have just ample amount of sub-tags underneath it. And obviously we have Jedi, we have Galactic Republic, we have, there's Phoenix and all these other things. But there's so many more just specific Jedi tags that they could add. You can make a Jedi Council team. Like you can make a Grandmaster Yoda lead thing going with Mace Windu, and you can have Plo Koon, Kit Fisto, and Ayla Secura, or who would be another Jedi on the Jedi Council? Obi-Wan, technically Anakin, but for the funny reasons, he probably wouldn't be on there on that short tag or short list of characters. Anyways, something like that to make the team more viable would be great. Second up, I did talk about this already. Imperial Remnants. Imperial Remnants is something that CG's looking into. They're giving CG's giving them Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, we're giving them the official tag, and we're giving them Scout Trooper, so we're giving the Imperial Remnants things. That's good. It's good. The issue is the Imperial Remnant tag still has a lot of crossover with stuff that is under the normal Imperial Trooper tag. You can't make an Imperial Remnant team without taking away from Piet or Iden. You can't do it. You either have to take off Dark Trooper, you take off Death Trooper or Moff Gideon, and that takes away from Gidmay. There's a problem here. I just think there's not enough variety in the units here. And there definitely is opportunity for CG to make this a viable thing. Why is my green screen like that? I don't know. We're just going to have a wonky green screen in this video. I don't know why there's a little triangle in the corner peeking out there, but that's what's happening today. Anyways, they need more units specifically to this faction that is separate from the other factions that makes it different. I think that would be excellent. So, kind of a short, simple answer there. I mean, not necessarily the Imperial Remnant tag is not necessarily bad. It's just, it takes away from other teams, and I would like to see more units in this faction. We can see those Mandalorian Super Commandos from Mando Season 3. We can see, a plethora of other characters. You can use, Dr. Pershing. You can use the scavenger stormtroopers, the ones in the Mando Season 1, the ones that are really dirty and messed up. You can make that its own stormtrooper character. Also the stuff from Ahsoka, you can use the Night Troopers, I forget the commander's name, the one with the really cool mask. That guy. You could give Thrawn this tag. There's so many things you can do with this tag that they're just not. I think I've just thought about this on the spot. I think giving Thrawn the tag for this would be amazing, actually. I think that's a great idea. So, just something like that. Giving them more characters would be great. Next up, we have the Wookiee faction. Now, this is not even a faction that was conceived a year ago or so. There's so many Wookiees in the game, but the issue is that they fall in one of two camps. They're either completely stupid and useless, or they have a really good home somewhere else, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense to put them on a Wookiee team. So let's go down the list here. Chewpio, CLS. Chewbacca, CLS. Vet Smuggler Chewie, useless. Zalbar, Old Republic, kind of useless. Clone Wars Chewie, useless. Sorry, Clone Wars Chewie. There's a guy in my live streams named Clone Wars Chewie, so sorry about that. Vandor Chewbacca goes on a Dash team, or really a Scoundrel team. Chrysanthemum goes on Jabba. Tarful is the lead of the Wookiee team. So we take out all of the useful characters. That gives us Tarful, Vet Smuggler, Clone Wars, and maybe Zalbar. That gives us 4. That's not even a complete team without ripping other things off. And there's no way... I'm sorry. If you guys are taking off your Chewpios or your Chewbacca's or your Vandor Chewies or your Chrysanthemums to put them on a Wookiee team, and you have the teams that those characters are supposed to go with, what are you doing? What are you doing? If you have the characters, come on. The Wookiees need a little bit of help. Obviously, that Datacron when they came out was kind of helpful. And I know they're not necessarily the worst team. It's just they're not a top-level team at all. I think if we're going from an S to an E tier list, they're probably like D. They're not... They're different. They're different. I'll give them that. They just pull away from so many teams. It's kind of the same thing with Imperial Remnant, except these are more bad than the Imperial Remnant. So they need more characters in the Wookiee faction, which is insane for me to say, but they need more characters in the Wookiee faction. They need a bit more synergy, and maybe we'll have something here. But there also becomes the issue of there not being... when you think about it, too many Wookiees in Star Wars. There's definitely enough Wookiees here. You couldn't just add Wookiee Fighter and stuff like that. You can make stuff to make this a useful faction. It's just... that doesn't make it easier. I understand that. So this is one thing I'd like to see them work on, is fleshing out this faction a little bit better, maybe giving a better lead. I don't know. Just something to work on. So next up, we are going back to the Clone Wars with the Separatists. Now, the Separatists themselves don't necessarily suck too much. They're not the worst. Sure, Grievous has a lot of counters, and yes, I know Stap is changing that for a lot of people, but still a lot of people are not getting Stap yet. At least I'm in Erodium 2 now, and I've not seen a single Stap. Excuse me, I've not seen a single Stap yet. Every Grievous team I face is just Relic 3 or Relic 5 across the board with the Relic 7 Grievous, and I just one-shot it with my Womp on auto. It's just super easy. And then Trench is Trench. I have this discussion with people on my live streams all the time. I fall in the camp of people not loving Trench, but it's not because I think he's like, one of the worst conquest units or whatever. I think there's a place in the game for Trench, and I especially think it'll be better once he gets his capital ship. Once he gets his capital ship, I think it'll be great, but I actually winked the wrong eye. Whatever. Trench getting a capital ship will help him a lot, but I think there's a place for Trench in the game, but the issue is that it's such a high barrier of entry. You have to invest so much into the team for you to get a return on it. Now, the people that have invested a lot, and I mean a lot, into the Trench team, the best mods, high relic levels, all the Zetas, Omegas, Omicrons, whatever, out the wazoo, everyone that's fully invested and gone all the way deep into the trench, going deep into the trench, that's kind of fire, actually, hold on. If they've gone deep into the trench and fully upgraded him, you can get use out of him. The issue is that Trench takes so many resources, and so many people are not willing or able to spend those resources on a Trench team. So I think fleshing that out would be better. The Geonosian team is kind of, at this point, it's kind of getting to that point of being irrelevant. The fleets are great. It's early, good early game, helps with GOTB. Could do what they did with Ewoks and throw in like a Princess Nisa for the Geonosians. I don't know what Geonosian that would be. Oh, you know what? They could do that Geonosian from Rebels. That's what they could do. So something like that, just to spice it up a little bit, would be fun. But I think Trench needs someone to make their kits a little bit easier to have a lower barrier of entry. I think the Grievous team, the Stap is a good step forward, but we need something more like that to make Grievous more fun, strong, different. And I also think this is another faction, yet again, that really, really, really just needs more characters, which is crazy for me to say, because we do have a good amount of Separatist characters in the game, but I think having another Separatist fleet is totally a good option. I think having Count Dooku have his own team of characters is totally viable, makes sense. You can have like Rush Clovis, you can put Newt Gunray, Wat Tambor, and whatever on there, and then Trench can have like Commando Droid and stuff like Ventress. I don't know, Ventress probably going Dooku, but you know, stuff like that. I think that Trench and Dooku could have their own teams, something like that. I just think the Separatist faction is overall okay. It's getting better, and obviously CG is currently working on this. This is good. This is one faction they are currently working on with the release of the Stap. So thankfully, this one is kind of lower on the list because of Stap, basically, here, because they're working on it. This is not necessarily in best to worst list, by the way. This is not in order of any way. This is just five characters, factions that CG needs to work on. But our last faction that CG needs to work on, and it kills me to say this, Clone Troopers. This faction sucks, and I will get into it why. Okay, Clone Trooper is kind of like the Jedi tag in the sense that it's just such a vague term that doesn't apply to a lot of things in the game, because almost all of these clones have another tag that makes them more useful somewhere else. The Bad Batch is the Bad Batch, the 501st goes with Gas, Captain Rex goes with either the 501st or Phoenix, depending on where you're putting them. Cody and Clone Sergeant and kind of Omega just kind of don't really go places. I mean, Omega obviously would go in Bad Batch, but Shock T is better, in my opinion, for Bad Batch. So they just don't really go places. And I think not necessarily the Clone Trooper tag itself, although it would be nice. Maybe if you gave Commander Cody a Clone Trooper specific lead or Omicron or whatever, and you can tie all of these Clone Troopers together into one team if you don't have Gas or Bad Batch fully done or whatever. I think that'd be great. Or please, let's add more Clone Troopers. Let's add Kix, Hardcase, Dogma, Waxer, Boyle, Wolf, Comet. There's so many that you can think of. Just Fox. I already said Kix. I don't know. There's so many clones you can add. There's different versions of clones you can add that are in the game here. You have 2 Echoes. You can add so many different 5s. You can have different. You can add Phase 1 versions of all these characters. Double your profit here. That'd be great. I think they just need to make more Clone Trooper stuff. Yes, am I a prequel kid that loves Star Wars because of that animated Clone Wars movie, and ever since I saw that movie I fell in love with it? Yeah, I am. I thank you, Captain Rex, for getting me into this unhealthy money spending hobby. But hey, getting more Clone Trooper representation in the game would be wonderful. Again, I think Commander Cody is our on-ramp to this. I think this all starts with Cody making a 212 faction, Waxer, Boyle, some other Clone Troopers. I don't know. You know what you could do is remodel. You know how they remodel things? Remodel Clone Sergeant to be a 212 Trooper. I'm big brain here. And then you can just add normal Clone Trooper. You can add Phase 1 normal clone, and then you have Sergeant, you have Commander, Lieutenant, Captain. I mean, there's so many variants of Clone Troopers. It's free money, CG. Have you seen Lego's profit numbers on Clone Trooper sets? It's ridiculous. Captain Rex is gated behind a $700 set, and I can't get him. Hopefully it'll be out later. I don't know. Basically, there is a huge demand for Clone Troopers. There's a huge demand for this faction, and I think CG hasn't fully optimized this faction yet. Bad Batch is working, 501st is working, but please add more in 2024. If you released some other, like a Phase 1 Captain Rex, might have to wail on it. I don't know. I haven't wailed on my Phase 2 Captain Rex because I haven't been fit in the time yet, but like if there's a new release and it does something amazing with what I have here, might have to invest. I don't know. But basically, that is 5 factions I think CG could do some work on. There's really some more I could throw in here. I can throw in like droid or something else. Like there's a few other things on here I can rework. This is the top 5, I think. If you guys love this video, I will make a part 2. Because there's a few more tags I can think of, but 5 is a nice number, so I kept myself to 5. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like and subscribe if you have not already for more friends. Check out our membership program. Thank you so much for Rain, Average Stormtrooper, and Tipsy for being Tier 6 members. Really, really do appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, you guys. That was a great outro, Asteroid. Wow.